Alright guys, I got the downpipe about a couple weeks ago and I've just been saving it to do a video along with the manifold. Right now, this is how it is, how it looks. It's a 4-inch inlet, 3-inch outlet. We got 2 sensor bunks here, 2 here, 1 here. And then I'm going to show you how to heat wrap it. This is DEI's titanium wrap. It's basically pulverized volcanic rock into strands. This is a 2-inch by 100-foot roll, so very long. And they give me pins. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here we go. There it is. So there is a formula for this. So basically you take the diameter of the pipe times the length and then how much overlay you need. So that's roughly going to be about 50 feet for this one alone. So let's see how much. So let's see, there's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'll need about, I'm going to start with 30. If I need more, I can add more. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to do about 1/2-inch overlay. And all I'm going to do is take a pair of scissors. Cuts very easily with scissors. And then the rest of this, I'm just going to fold one end over and then put the pins back in that came with this roll so it doesn't unravel itself. One pin. And I'm just going to set that off to the side. One of the things that's going to be a little difficult is these bungs, but that shouldn't pose much of a problem. So with this titanium wrap, you don't need to get it wet first, you don't need to coat anything. It's simply just apply and forget, basically. And we're going to have to vacuum after this. So basically pick a direction and go with it. If you need to, you can take a piece and fold it over partly. It doesn't have to be exact. So I'm just gonna hold some good tension on this. And start wrapping it. Bends are gonna take a little bit more, but that's to be expected. I'm just going to start wrapping this around twice so it gets a good hold. And then I'm just going to start wrapping like so. Until I get to a good stopping point. And then I'm going to try to hold it with this hand. And then I'm going to try to take, no, I don't need one of those, I need one of these. I have I have some DEI's heat wrap metal clamps. So basically with these, if you have a 4-inch diameter pipe, you need about 16 inches for one of these, which is roughly about 1 foot and 4 inches. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my feet at the bottom and I'm going to apply pressure so I can let my hand up. And all I'm going to do is slide this through for a lock. And then DI does supply a tool for their locking ties. It basically a 1/4 inch drive one side and then slant the other. All you do is take it from one side, turn it over, and then take your ratchet and just pulls it through basically and snugs it up. I don't screw it up first. And this is why I buy more than one. Okay, that one didn't work too well. Let's try this again. Don't really need to do very much on it. So I'm just going to take the end of it and snug her up. Something. Okay. I'll have to work with that more later, but that's basically how the tool works. So continuing on with our wrap. As you can see, the overlay on the bottom side is going to be more than the outside. So basically, if I'm 1/2 inch here, it's going to be about 1 inch on the inside, on corners. Heat wrap is basically just to keep extensive amount of heat out of the engine bay from a turbocharger or any application you really want to use it for. Keeps the engine bay temps down, which helps keep the engine cooler. To So now we're getting to another tricky part. This is where it comes down from 4 inches to 3 inches. So basically it's a stepping pipe. It's a, I'd call it a cone shape really. So make sure you keep it nice and tight. Just keep enough tension on it. Might have to overlap more than you want to. Once you get down to that 3-inch portion, where it's completely 3-inch, should be fine. Okay, now we're down to the complete 3-inch. I've got about, I want to say 15 feet, 20 feet into it already. And I need to get some of this unwound. Here's another trick. Take the pipe and you can just hold just like this. Turn the pipe instead of the wrap to help keep it from tangling. Always do the things hard way first before I can appreciate the easy way. Now we're cooking. Now I gotta really untangle this. Here we go. Okay, so now I'm down to the flex coupler, and to finish this off I'm just going to wrap it 2 or 3 times. Like I did when I started. And then take your pair of scissors make your cut, get it to cut. There we go. Take another locking tie. You can use hose clamps, warm dry hose clamps if you need to for this section. If you don't feel comfortable with the zip ties or locking ties you can get from DEI. Oh, you turdberg. And then again, take your tool, start this one. I'm going to start a little bit out so I can get some more good grip on it. And then basically just going to take a pair of side cutters and cut the excess off so that it's just not hanging there like that. This way with this one. Uh-oh. And that should be it. There's a wrapped downpipe. Shouldn't be able to move it very much. Take your hand like that. So there you go. Guys, here is manifold finally. 1/2 inch thick stainless steel for the mounts, and then thick schedule stainless steel tubing. It is a divided, but I have the two divided tubes tied together for one wastegate, and then that's the wastegate where it sits. So wastegate sits here. Here's my wastegate. This is the seat portion, and then put that down in there, and then put the V-band clamp there. So that is my hand. So you can see that is a pretty big wastegate. So I've been thinking about trying a way to wrap this one. So for cylinder 1 and 2, I'm going to wrap individually until about somewhere in here. And then same goes for 3 and 4 until a certain point up in here. And then from there I'm just going to wrap the rest of it entirely. Hopefully this works pretty good. So let's get started. First, I need to run and get something. Alright, let's get started with the turbo manifold. This is going to be a fun one. This one's a little more difficult. Same concept as the downpipe, just going to be a little more difficult on doing. So, I've trimmed one end. This is going to start the same way. This one you can't really rotate the piece and hold the wrap and wrap it that way. This piece is, it's going to be a little more difficult. So I'm going to start with cylinder 1. Again, I'm just going to pick a spot, start on, and then hopefully you can get this right. I mean, there's different ways you can do this. I mean, my way that I'm showing is not necessarily correct or the best possible way to do this. There are other ways. I mean, it really comes down to what works, what worked for you, or what works best for you. For me, this is how it works. It's really getting us started. It's the pain in the ass part. It's just keeping enough tension on here to do this. So I'm going to go around on this a couple times. And then I'm going to start wrapping this. As I keep the tension on this, it won't start rolling like it was before. So, here we come around a bend. I'm gonna go to text. Who is texting me? Okay, here's one of the really tricky parts. Trying to fit the wrap in between the pipes. Okay, scissors. Okay, I'm making a bit of a mess. And then I'm just going to take this in, I'm going to fold it over. I'm going to take my zip lock, I'm going to take my locking tie here, And I'm just gonna lock this down. Okay, really with this locking tool, you want to rotate it away, so I'm going to rotate this. For me it'd be clockwise, but as you're viewing it'd be counterclockwise. And it doesn't need to be very much. I mean, you don't really... I grab it down here at the base so I can feel a lot better. It's just a little bit on the snugness, and that's it. You don't need any more than that. And again, cut your excess off. Yep. And then from here, I'm just going to start the other one and then end and keep continuing on. Ratchet. Alright, so now we need to unwrap more. So, let's see. That should about do it. Go. Oh, no you don't. Not my watch. Alright, gonna take a pipe again. I was kind of holding it this way, but... Pardon the dog. No boy. Canuck, if you're going to be in here, you need to lay down. Please, lay down. Good boy. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to wrap it here a couple times. And then I'm going to jump over so that both pipes. Kind of see how I did that. It's just I put a good couple wraps on the main pipe, and then I just started wrapping both the pipes together. I'm gonna have to end this soon. So I'm going to wrap it a couple good times. I'm going to have to take my scissors here. I'm going to have to take one of my real long ones. Take that and fold that under. And of course, once you get to a stopping point, or before, you just take a couple short ones and put them where you start it to help hold it so it doesn't try to unravel. So I'm going to put one there. And one here. And again, take the tool and you don't have the tool, you can substitute a pair of needle-nose pliers. It does just about the same thing. So I'm just going to take the tool and see. Sure. Sometimes I double check the instructions. Okay. Wish I had something. You can always take a screwdriver. This should help you in this process. Get this thing back over where it needs to be. Fuck it. Put like a screwdriver here and it doesn't have to be much. Something started on that. Oh, I see it. You. No. Yes. There we go. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the screwdriver here, and then I'm just going to take the tool and back it onto it. And it should create a stronger bond. Go. And of course I'm going to do the same thing for over here. Okay. Now I need a Leatherman. This one sucks. So basically that's how I'm going to do it. I'll do the same thing with the other two, and then basically continue the wrap from here on over down. And that's pretty much how it's heat wrapped. I will show you the finished product later. Alright guys, here is the finished wrap. I started each runner individually as you saw, and then I started wrapping these two together on 3 and 4 till I got to about here, because then I got real tight in the crack or the spacing here, and I just rounded it off. And then I started this wrap from these two over here, and then I just started wrapping those two, and then I started wrapping all 4 together. As you can see, it is mummified now. Give you a good look here. There is a few spots like here, but I'm not too concerned about it as long as majority is wrapped. I'm not going to wrap the wastegate because there's not enough room for that. And then basically I just ended it here. Put a couple ties to hold it. I put some good pressure on the wraps when I was wrapping the whole exhaust manifold so that it would stay in place pretty good. I did find a trick that if you wrap one spot and then go back over the last 3 or 4 and just kind of pull it towards the way you're wrapping it, like my direction was this way, so I just turn it this way and it got it a little tighter, so it'll stay in place a lot better. And then let me get, the room's a bit of a mess with all the parts laying around, so you guys can kind of see there's all the parts that I've had. And here is the downpipe. So this was one of the harder sections, the transition. After that, straight 3-inch, it was all pretty good. So there's those. And now I just have the dump tube to wrap a little bit, but I'll finish that. You guys see that in another video. I've got the turbo back finally. If I can get the thing out. Oh, you heavy son of a... Move these out of the way. So here it is. Remember seeing this turbo in a parts update. And then I got a turbine shield for it, but it's a little small, so I'm going to have to get another one that's a little bit longer and a little bit wider, because this is a twin scroll or divided T3. So this section here is actually wider than a standard T3 turbine housing. But that's pretty much what that'll look like. And next you'll see, go out into the garage with magic fetting with manifold and turbo on. Okay guys, here we are. We're out in the garage now. It's been about a week or two since I started filming. Reasons being financial, and some of this stuff came up. So the last time we wrapped the manifold, down pipe, and dump tube. So I have everything now. We're just going to do a mock-up and also get it ready for oil and feed and return lines. Put you on the stand. Too lazy to take everything out for the engine. So we are just going to do it where it sits. This is basically where I store it. As you can see. And put you in a good position so you can see this. Alright, so the exhaust side on the 420 and the Eagle Talons and Mitsubishi Cliffs is radiator side, as we all know. For those of you who don't know it, now you do. I'm not going to put any gaskets into this. This is mainly just a mock-up of what it's going to be. So I'm really just going to be putting this in here and putting a few bolts in. I'm just going to snug everything. I'm not going to tighten it with back yet. I'm going to do that when I have the gaskets in and everything's already been mocked up and ready to go. So okay, this is just purely mock-up, remember. When you're building engines and they're not factory rebuilds and you're adding like things like a turbocharger, just like I am, you have to know you do have to mock everything up and then take it off, make your changes, mock it up again, make more changes if you need to, and then from there, once you're happy with it and it's the way you like it and it's correct, then you can install it for final. As for me, I plan to install the manifold and turbo as one unit after the engine's in the car. So basically the manifold's not going to be on when I have the cherry picker on it and putting it in the car. So some of these bolts are going to be tricky to get to since I've heat wrapped it. So I've taken out some of the clearance or holes I can get to them with. So like this top right one is going to be one of them, which I'm alright with. I can just get a wrench in there. I have enough room for that at least, minimum. These other ones will be okay though, I can get to. Okay, so it's just on there snug, hand tight. I'm not too worried about it. I was going to do studs for the turbo manifold, but found out that some of the studs weren't going to really work with this. There is one kit out there, but it's kind of highly priced. But instead, I've opted for just Allen key head. Basically, these will work pretty good in real tight spaces like this. That's why I chose them. These are, I believe, 10.5 grit. They're real strong. They're not going to shear off. They're oxidized coated. They'll last. So again, I'm just going to take two of these and put them in the turbo to hold it. I'm not putting it in final. So basically, I've been noted that this water inlet pipe does need to be modified, and I do see wear now. So basically, this has to be bent in that way from here. Just kink it over. But for now, I'm going to see. Yeah, it does need to be bent in. I'm going to set that down. Set these down. I see where it needs to be bent. So I'm going to do this right here. I'll have to do more later. For right now, I just want to. Oh, yeah. That'll do. Slightly bent out of the way, and it's still in the. Oh, that's close. That's real close. Okay, so. I'm going to try to screw this in as I hold it. And then I'm going to try another one on the opposite diagonally. Get this started in here. Okay, come here. Wherever you went. And my trusty tools. No. Alright, so as you can see, turbo is on. Let's see if I can't back this up and get a better angle for you guys. I see that how low the turbo's hanging compared to the picture that you guys are seeing. So there we go. There's the turbo. So the radiator is going to sit right about here. If you figure, I was told there was about half an inch to an inch of clearance, so that would be right about here. Now you got to remember the starter's back up in here, but I won't have any issue with that. That won't be a problem. This pipe is going to be my main problem. Looks like I'll have to take it out and trim it up or somehow, and then put it back in. I have an idea of how I'm going to do it, but it means taking it out, refabbing it, repainting it, but something we'll have to deal with. Alright. And that's the reason why we mock things up, so I can see what needs to be changed. Alright, so we're going to come to this side, and we are going to put the downpipe on. This is a 4-inch V-band outlet from the turbine housing. So I need to clear the pan, so we have 4, goes right into a cone reducer into 3-inch, and it'll be 3-inch from there on. So this V-band clamp is a quick disconnect type. So if I can get this, okay, so I need to loosen the clamp. I've also been told that Turbonetics flanges don't really like to seal, but that's alright. If I can get the seal, I'll be happy. That's an 11mm. That's an 8. That's a 9. It's an 11. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. So I hold some shit in my mouth. Some greasy shit. Okay. So this should be just about there. Let's see my marks correctly. Okay, so there's that. Okay, wastegate. If I remember correctly, this wastegate came with an 11-pound spring pre-installed already. I've actually swapped that spring with the 3 other springs the kit came with. I can't talk straight today. Wastegate kit came with. So I've already swapped it out. Basically all you do is swap it out is take these 6 bolts out here, lift and take the tension off first, of course. Take the 6 bolts out, and then the spring will be right there. Take that spring out, put the new spring in, and make sure you don't rip the diaphragm that's in between these 2 case parts. That would be a no good day. Okay. So the one thing about Turbonetics is they have their wastegate valve seat incorporated with the flange. So the inlet's going to be the bottom side here, and then the outlet's going to be this side here. Okay. That'll just do for now. I think I put the wrong clamp on that side. Maybe. I think I did. Yeah. That's alright. Now... now we can see where the dump tube's going to be. So the transmission will be just right about here, so this will dump just in front of the transmission. Okay, so there's that. So that's pretty much the whole turbo setup for this engine. Looks like it will fit. Just the minor changes is to this water pipe. Actually, I might be able to get away with it as is. Just put a really sharp turn hose on it, because I'm not using the factory setup for the radiator or a thicker one. I've actually opted to a 3-row core radiator, which is actually meant for 4G63 engine. It'll still bolt up in the car. I just have to reroute the coolant pipes. So instead of the outlet pipe or the inlet pipe for the radiator being on top here, it's actually in the center now, which is actually a little bit more of a bend, but it'll be alright. The bottom one is actually further over on the passenger side for the outlet. So the pipe down here will have to come out in this way, which is alright. I'm still going to be running a heater core. If I wasn't, I would have had to cut the pipe already. But I'm running factory AC, power steering, and a heater core, so I decided to keep those for streetability, so I can drive on the street in the winter. Up here in Colorado, you need it when you get really heavy rainfall, and in the winter time when we get snow and the cold. Otherwise, we'd be driving around with the window open. Alright, so now we got to figure out the lines for the turbo. I've got a really small space in here, so I'm going to have to do something to it. I know I need to clock this turbo a little bit more, but that's alright. I'm going to need a really short adapter for that one. Alright, up next we're going to be doing the lines. So I may have to take the turbo off to get one of the feed lines into it, and then we'll put it back on. That's really, Doug? Really? I want to take that out because then avoid the warranty. Shit. Well, might make it. I'm either going to have to make a choice now whether to take a pre-screen that they have in here out to fit a fitting, because this pipe goes across here, but I guess wasn't really very well thought out. Come on, Doug. Oh well. It's alright. I can deal with it. I don't like this clamp either. This clamp kind of sucks. Alright, I think I'm going to have to get a different V-band clamp, 4-inch. This quick release one sucks. Alright. Off goes the down pipe. And then set that there. And off comes the turbo. Let's see if I'm turning this right. Where did I set it? Well, I've had this turbo for more than a year, so basically the warranty's up. Anyways. So I'm going to have to choose to take this damn fitting out. Worst case scenario, I can just rebuild it. I really don't want to take this fitting out, but I ain't got much of a choice now. Alright, figure out what I'm going to do. I am just going to order some new fittings. I'm going to take that other fitting out and reuse it. What I had planned to do is, the trouble here, I'll get a flange fitting with a 90-degree fitting, and then I'll just stick it that way and it'll come out up over here. So, now that I've got that figured out, let's start making some lines. Let's first start off with the oil feed line, the most important line. Of course, the oil return line is also most important too as well. So, I have stainless steel braided line here, 4AN. That's what I'm turbo has. I'm using Jegs stainless steel braided hose. This is, I believe, their ProFlow series. This is NHRA acceptable. That's what Jeg tells me. So I don't have to worry. When you buy and make your own hoses, buy it in bulk and buy more than what you need. So for me, this is 6 foot length, I believe. Yeah, 6 foot length. So I did buy a lot more than I need, which is good. Whatever I don't use, I'm going to keep for extra. Will be extra. So for those of you who haven't seen what I've done for feed fittings back here, can't really see it very well. Here, let me light you up. You can see how I have a 45 and then I have the adapter in there. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out from this fitting here all the way to the front, which you guys again so you guys can see. Yep, that way a little bit. So I'm going to measure from right about in here and then back up over in there. I'm going to leave extra on this, probably about 6 inches, so if I need to I can recut and resplice it another time. Alright, so I've made my mark, as you can see. Should be right there. That's where I'm going to cut it. When you cut stainless steel line, you want to cut it as straight as possible, otherwise it won't seal correctly. Or it will seal, but it just won't sit in the fitting very well. So I'm going to need an end mill for this. I'm going to try to cover the end mill as best I can for this section so I don't get anything in it that I don't want to have in it. So there we go. Okay. My favorite method is just to cut off the wheel. This will work pretty good. It cuts it pretty straight, cuts the stainless and the rubber at the same time. Do you know you will have to deburr it inside and out afterwards? So take my air. Of course, I'm going to have about 2 feet of extra. Shit, I forgot. I got to change that over. Dang it. Why did I not think of that when I left work? Oh well. It's not like I can't change it back later. Okay, no, there should be another one around here somewhere. Come on. Oh, Jesus. I think what I did is I put this fitting in knowing it's probably never going to come out again. But at work, here's the fittings we use at work for our air tools, and this is the one I need. You can see the difference is this piece here. So what I'm going to have to do use my weight. There we go. Here it comes. Here it comes. Yeah. Okay. Wow, that thing was in there. God, I had put that in there that tight. I don't know why I can't just use an adapter. I'm gonna make one. Probably should. I don't have to deal with this. Okay. That should do for me. Okay. Now, yes. You're going to want safety glasses when you do this. I can't stress that enough. You get something in your eye, you're either going to have to A, get it drilled out, which you're going to have to go to the ER for, or B, you'll just lose your vision. Me personally, I'll take safety glasses over ER. Okay, so this to work. So you guys can see what I'm doing here. So I've got my length. I'm going to try to use this edge here as a straight edge when I'm cutting. It'll help make things a little bit easier for me. And I'm going to hold on to one end as I do this. All the sparks you saw is the reason why I wear safety glasses. That's how clean of a cut you'll get, really, with it. Back this out. So it just comes out pretty clean. All I gotta do is take some of these frayed ends off. Another good trick is if you take electrical tape and wrap it into it. Works just a little bit better. So all I'm going to do is take a pair of side cutters, go around this and cut some of the ends off. Some of the stray stuff, so and I could just take the inside of it and I can just go around and cleans up the inside edge. Of course, you're going to want to flush this out of here once you're done. So you don't want this stuff getting in the oil, or whichever you want making your lines for. So there's that one. Now I'm going to make my fitting selection out of all the fittings I have. That's what these two boxes are for over here. All the fittings I've been collecting. Just for this project alone. Okay. So, fitting selection is going to be important. You don't really want to put a lot of tension and stress on the hose, so. This one I'm going to choose a 90 for. I think I have a couple 45s, mostly 45 and a couple straights. But actually, I think I'm going to save the 90 for another portion. Maybe the 45 instead. Again, these are Jags Elite Series Pro Flow, or whichever one you want to call them. They're anodized red and black, mandrel bent. So these fittings should be pretty good. Yeah, I will use the 90 on that end. Actually, I don't really want to use it. I'll just have to get another one. It's not like I can. Or can't, I'm sorry. It's just I can't. So, with these, I'm getting this on camera, right? These are just thread on here. So this piece I'm going to put on this end, and then from the inside, from bottoms out and back it off a 1/16 of an inch. This will make a good connection. You'll make a mark, and then you'll put it on. And then if the mark moves, you'll know that the hose didn't seat properly. And then once you have your hose links together, you want to get it pressure tested, of course. Hose assembly oil. So I've got assembly oil here for this to help the process go a little bit quicker. And I also have a vise clamp set to help prevent scratches on install. Back in there, that can go back in there. God dang it, I just had them not long ago. So basically, these are meant to use to go put AN hoses together so it doesn't scratch the finish. I'll do that here in a moment. So, for right now, I am mainly concerned about getting this hose together. So that hose piece I won't be using, this one I will be. So what I'm going to do with these are magnetic, they have magnets on the back of them. I'm just going to stick it in the vise, like so. And then I can stick my fitting in here. Whichever way do I want to do it? This place is quiet. so. Now I'm going to concentrate on putting this together. So another way I can use to deburr this is to other way. Okay. So I'm just going to take this and any of those fiber strands of the stainless steel that aren't going on, I'm just going to take a small screwdriver and help push it in. So just so alright, that one didn't go so well, so I'm going to recut it. This is why you put extra, so that if it didn't cut right the first time, try again. Okay. I'm just going to find the end. they make it so easy. Tell you it's so easy to do, but not really. Alright guys, I'm just gonna have to fiddle with it. I'll be back. Alright, so I did some fiddling with it. I had to cut it multiple times again, and then I finally got it. So, it did cut me. I am bleeding. I hate the little hairs of this goddamn thing. Let's see the steel strands that hang off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make my mark on here. So I'm just going to make my mark. And then I'm going to apply a little assembly lube. A little bit. Don't really need very much about this, but just need enough to. Oop, that's a little too much for that one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to push as I turn it. So once I get it started, I can there. So I've got it started. I just need to go until it stops like that, and then I just need to turn it the rest of the way if I don't stop bleeding first. Either of those. 16 is too small. 16 is too big. Okay. 5/8. It's got to be a 5/8. So 5/8 or a 15. So I'm just going to go until it bottoms out and snug it. Wiping the excess off. So I can see that this one stayed in there and I can pull on it and it doesn't come out. A good trick is to take the cord of the stainless, kind of stretch it, kind of like move the excess to one side. Yeah. So that's how you do a stainless steel braided hose. Basically just take your measurement, mark it, cut it, and put your fitting on. The reason why I made a mark is so I can know if it backs out on me or not. But it didn't, so here we go. That's one end, and then I have probably multiple more to go, especially with the fuel system. That's pretty much what I'm going to do today, is finish up the 80 inlines, and then for the oil feed system, that'll be it. Alright guys, I did complete the final section of the oil feed line. I do have a pre-filter. I did take the fitting out. I had no choice. On the turbo inlet, I'm going to have to put a 1/8 inch flange onto it with the gasket, and then have a 90-degree fitting so I can bring it this way sharply, and then I'll deal with it from there. But overall, it comes from the back. You can see there's a little bit of excess, but this is really going to be sitting up here like this, so it's really going to be above. But overall, we'll just give you a quick overview of what the setup will finally look like. So I need more light so you guys can see this. So I'm talking about with modifying the lower pipe for those who buy the XPS tubular pro race manifold. This is what Doug tells you, is that this lower radiator, or this lower coolant pipe, you have to bend out of the way of the turbo here, and so that you can also fit. That's what he talks about on his website and tells you personally. So this is pretty much what the setup will be. I like it, but it does have some of its quirks that I need to figure out. Like, for one, the turbo down pipe, this should have had a male end instead of a female, because this is a female end on the turbine housing. So I'll probably have to take the wrap off, get another V-band, and have it re-weld it, but that won't be a problem. Or what I could do is just make a locator ring, just a flat piece of steel or something, put it in here, and then clamp it down, which will just help locate it and make it sit flat. But there you go. That is the complete turbo setup, minus the intercooler and piping for now. The only other thing I do want to make note of yes, I do make notes, is that the oil drain actually sits, this is actually where it sits. This is a comparison, is that it's only about an inch or two above the drain over here, and the fittings I was going to use, it just doesn't work. So it's almost even with the sump, so I have to use a scavenging pump. They do make scavenging pumps for this type of setup, and it's not from Doug though, but it's a scavenging pump. It just picks up the oil and makes a positive on the return line towards the sump to keep oil from blowing out the seals in the turbo, and keeps oil flowing so it just doesn't sit in the line. But other than that, it's got about, I want to say, another 5K in parts left to go, and I just ordered a couple more parts to help finish the turbo install from the mock-up, and also ordered a oil catch can, because I can't put positive pressure boost in the crankcase. That'll blow out gaskets pretty easily in the oil pan. So, but this is pretty much it. And this is just, like I said, you want to mock things up, make sure it fits all correctly. If not, make the changes until it does. Alright, that concludes part 25, and hopefully maybe midsummer this year, or maybe in winter, we'll have everything together and ready to go. Alright, till then.